All right, welcome into Q&A with TNA. That is Todd and Aaron. You know what we didn't do? We need to do this.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
So I went that way, and you weren't there. You were.
All right, here. Ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for question and answer time with Todd and Aaron?
It's time for Q&A with TNA. By the way, that stands for Todd and Aaron. There we go. Now we've got it. Now we're doing it right here. So welcome into Q&A.
And now we just need to flip the screens.
That's right. You're right. Okay, let's do that. Done. Okay, there we go. Q&A with Todd and Aaron. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get this high five thing here.
One of these times. One of
Yeah,
these
right
times.
there.
One
Boom.
of these times we'll get it, sir. I don't know when.
All right.
One of these times.
That's just too much awkward for one time.
I know.
All right, so let's check in with some folks here first, Todd, and then we'll get into some questions and see if we can get out of here.
Let's go.
There we go. So good afternoon, Mo, and we got Facebook user checking in. Hello, all. Yes,
user.
and if you would like to not be a Facebook user, and maybe it just won't work, and that's just the way that
It did it to me the other day. And
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever.
Yep.
Just go
But
to-
if you
just
do go
YouTube.
to oursuccess.group/Facebook, that should get you to where you're no longer a Facebook user. But no promises. The only way that it will actually work, Todd, for sure, is I'm not actually putting in the banner, but go for it.
YouTube.
There you go.
LiveOSG.com. It's in the banner. It's in the
Yeah,
banner,
it's probably
isn't it?
there. But so
think
Mo is watching while working. Look at that, working hard. In fact, Todd, I know you just mentioned to me before we got on air, a couple more, and you're done. Finally, maybe.
So here's the deal. Like we delivered some stuff, and somebody was like, "Oh my god, these turned out amazing. What are the chances of us getting a couple more?" and you know how that goes, where you're just like, it's super simple, super easy, and you're just like, yeah, I can have them. I can do that. And then there was something else, like somebody last week on Thursday said, "Hey, what's the chances of us, getting, maybe like 6 coats done before Christmas?" And I'm like, well, and I said, okay, well, it's a corporate client. Yep, we can make it. And then it went to 14 coats. So yeah, that was fun. And now I think we're just on the family stuff, and that's the fun stuff that I just get to put my face all over in here. Here you go. You complain about never seeing me. Now you have a Christmas ornament with my face all over.
There you go. Nice. All right. So Mo is working. Todd is still working. The Crystal Ninja is listening and unpacking. So,
yeah.
In fact, you have you're heading that way, correct? Is that still correct?
As long as California keeps it open, man, we will be there at the end of next month. We're going to spend a couple days there. The new shop will be opening. We're doing the make and take on the Friday night. Is that correct, Corey? Friday, what day is that? The 20 or no? I don't know. It's Friday. It's 21st because it's the same time as ISS, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
As long as ISS still plays nice, we'll be doing San Diego, and we'll be there for a couple days, and then we'll be there on the 21st. Yeah, 21st at the Crystal Ninja Studios, and then we're going to head up to ISS for the 22nd and 23rd. So
awesome.
That's the plan. We're definitely going to California as long as they'll have us.
All right, as long as they'll have you Iowans or Illinoisans, I guess.
Right.
Illini, is that correct?
Yeah, Fighting Illini. Let's go.
Illini, yes. All right. Chuck, good evening. Thanks for being here. Now we are cooking with gas. We got the intro going, and Kristen, stay warm. Yeah. It's actually supposed to be 70 here in St. Louis on Christmas Eve.
Let me see what's it supposed to be here, because you're only 5 hours from me.
Yeah.
So we'll see how far north that is going to come, because I heard something about some decent weather, but it is going to be on Christmas Eve. It is going to be 55 degrees, And Snoop Dogg's favorite weather? Drizzle.
Drizzle. I knew something was coming there. Yeah, I knew something was coming there. All right. Well, but yes, stay warm, everybody. It is that time of year.
Yeah, it was today. It was like 30, I think, is what it got to. So it was amazing. It's 30, and then it's going to be 55 on Friday, and then it looks like we're pretty good through the rest of the year. It doesn't look like even any snow. Maybe till the third, till New Year's Eve. Yeah,
there you go.
Handle that.
There you go. Excellent. Well, I've got my hoodie on still because I was outside today and it was a little chilly today. So we got some last minute lights that we needed to put out. We got our lights out, and then the neighbors stepped it up this year. So I had to keep my throne as the Griswold of the neighborhood. So we doubled up some things, and now we're all set and ready for Santa's arrival. So he knows exactly where to come, right down Candy Cane Lane.
Our daughter said that our yard looks like a drunken frat party because all of the inflatables have blown over. So there's Santa's laying here and snowman laying here and Christmas tree kind of half over here. And it just came to where I'm like, well, we're done. I want to do a mega tree. I keep saying that every year, and then I remember it in October, November, and there's just not enough time to build it then. So I need to get on my big calendar that we're going to do for 2022 July, right after 4th of July, to go ahead and start building this mega tree. So I will be good to go for it.
There you go. I like it. All right. Edward checking in. Thanks for being here. And Edward said Facebook user was him. Sorry. No need to be sorry. We have some fun with that. So Facebook is the one who needs to be sorry, but they won't. So it is what it is.
That's why we went to YouTube, so it was easier,
Yeah, exactly. So Kristen says, taking a break while I wait for some digitizing to come back for embroidery. So there you go.
Nice.
Little break. Chuck says, got a few more Christmas gifts. The Crystal Ninja is excited about Todd.
She's probably going to be excited if Terry
I actually was trying to say Todd and Corey all at the same time, and I came out with Terry. So I have no idea how that worked, but Todd and Corey arrival in California.
I can't wait. I haven't been out to California in 12, 15 years. It's been a while. So
nice.
It'll be nice to, and I mean, what better time than January, to go out there.
It's still not like warm, so don't get all crazy, but it's definitely nicer than the Midwest.
It's like 60s in San Diego, so I can totally dig that. 60s in San Diego with sun and a beach is a lot better than 20s here.
Yeah,
in a muddy river.
Yep, exactly.
Frozen.
Exactly. So Kristen says it's supposed to be raining and cold here in Michigan. So yeah, it normally is here too. It just happens to be a nice day this Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. My son really wanted a white Christmas though. In fact, as he was writing his letter to Santa, he was sharing it with us, and that was one of the things on his list was a white Christmas, but I think he's getting a green Christmas instead. So
that there are places that they come and they will spray your yard for snow, right? Yeah.
No,
think about that. Like find a niche and exploit it and go. People want a white Christmas, so they would come on Christmas Eve and they would spray the yard. So when they wake up, there's a white Christmas. I mean, it's an amazing thing when you think about it. To do it because they're making. I think the last time that I saw someone do it, it was like $350 for them to come out, $350, $500 to something. But on Christmas Eve, to have your kids wake up and they're, you're the only yard that has snow in it. I mean, memories, man. Memories are priceless.
All right. Well, nope. Not happening. All right, let's move on before somebody, Little Mr. Christmas hears that. We've got 70 sounds great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Travis, 82 here for Christmas. That's down in Texas. So
yeah. See, I think I'm fine with that. I'm ready to move south. I think as the business continues to expand online, and I'm needed less and less to have a presence in store somewhere, that means we can pretty much move anywhere.
That's right. That's right.
Within 2 hours of a beach, and I think we're going to be good
there. Yep. So Eric says rainy and mild in the Pacific Northwest, all the way up there into the Vancouver area. If I'm correct, Eric, help me if I'm wrong there. Edward says, but your audio comes into Facebook first. There's a slight delay when something you say hits YouTube. Yeah, I think that's YouTube's way of like, okay, let's shut this feed off if we're doing copyright or something like that. There is a longer delay in YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So, And so, all right. And that's true. 45 Fahrenheit there locally. And Mo says, Cali girl here better than 30ish that we're supposed to have here. So, and Eric says it might be a white Christmas there in the Pacific Northwest. So that's actually pretty uncommon. My understanding of that area.
I would think so too.
Oof. Renee, I just got shivers.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yep. Yeah. Edward says, I want to move to Arizona, but I also want Texas taxes. So yeah, there's benefits of both. Yeah, I grew up in Arizona, so having seasons is actually really cool to me still. So I'm okay with some cold and some snow and some stuff like that.
I think I'm over it by now.
Yeah. Okay.
I've adulted enough just to say we're done.
Yeah. All right. I'm good with that. So Eric, yes, he's up there near Vancouver, British Columbia. Perfect. All right, Todd. Well, we've got a chance to check in with everybody, talk to everybody here a little bit. We've got the weather report out of the way. Shall we answer some questions?
I say so. Let's go.
Let's do it. All right. Let me make sure I've got the right ones here. All right. So I tried to sneak this one in last time, but we felt like we needed to save a little extra time and hit this one here. So how far in advance of a sale time, like Halloween, Christmas, etc., do you start making bulk products to sell? So Todd, I will let you take that one first.
Well, so here's the thing is I don't make anything in advance. Like I will promote it in advance and I'll put things out there in advance, but I'm not making anything in advance because what happens if I don't sell it? Then I'm just sitting on it and then I'm sitting on it because the holiday only comes once a year. So if I don't sell it, I can sit on it till next year. So I'll do, usually, you try and start pushing things 3 months is when I start working on them though. And it's hard to push, like right now, it'd be hard to push Valentine's Day, even though, Christmas is right here. It's hard to push things for Valentine's Day and Mardi Gras, because of Christmas still here. So right after that holiday is when I go right into the next one. That's how I've done it. And it's worked so far, but I've been planning before, here's Valentine's Day stuff coming up because we're going to do, the mugs and pillow combos always do well for us. So we'll do those again and we'll start pushing them there, right after the first of the year.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with you. And, obviously it's going to depend a little bit on what it is that you're selling. If there is a bit of a ramp up period to get stock, I can certainly see maybe doing a little bit in advance, but even with that, like Todd said, unless you've got a magic crystal ball that tells you exactly what you're going to sell, or you make it like, you're going to sell out and you just limit it, say 50 is all I'm going to do. And that's all I'm going to have. And, I know that for sure I can sell that 50, then yeah, I'm in the same boat. I wouldn't make anything in advance. A lot of people in our industry do have a digital process of some sort, whether that's, even cutting vinyl is, you don't have to do bulk runs to make it efficient necessarily. You can do shorter runs, or, you've got you get DTF transfers from Todd, or you've got a sublimation printer or something like that, direct to garment printer, some sort of a digital process. I would definitely just print to order. We did ornaments over the holidays here and they were, personalized, like a bunch of personalization in it. And when things were cranking and it hit just right, we were turning certain orders around in like 24, 36 hours tops. So, I don't think that that you need to be building a whole bunch of stuff in bulk in advance. And then that leads into the other side of it where why not do some personalization to it and offer that as an option too, as an upsell, right? So you're able to, it's not going to cost you anymore. And yet you can make, $5 extra or whatever. So these personalized ornaments that we were doing, they were selling them for close to $40 once it came to all that personalization, and this is a 3-inch ceramic round ornament that somebody's getting $40 plus shipping. $40 plus shipping is crazy.
And I think a great thing to point out there is you said, you were getting this stuff out within 48 hours. And why was that? Is because I'm assuming you didn't have 100 SKUs you were trying to push. Yeah. Here's your handful of stuff. I'm going to guess it was under 5. And you would just boom, 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 boom.
Under 5,
you get
much
the
under
process
5.
down for it and just keep going,
Yeah, and it really does come down to the process, right? You get a process together, you get it going, and like you said, you focus on doing right from the time that we started till right now. The process changed throughout that as we figured out, okay, how can we be even more efficient with this? And so now it'll be even better, right going forward. And then you can add in, okay, let's add something else next year, or let's figure out ways we can do more next year, add a new customer or something like that. But it's this build upon thing after you focused and really nailed the process down the first time. Again, not trying to go, okay, I've got, 500 things, pick one, pick something that you like. And then you got to each time figure out, okay, how did I do this one again? Oh, I've got to, I mean, our spoilage rate was less than 1%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And that includes,
and I tell people, when you're looking at, ordering or having multiple things, one of the things to look at is multiple presses. That way you're not messing with pressures. You're able to keep this just dialed in, and this is this product, and this is this product. And that way you're not messing around with that. You just boom, go. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah. 4,300 ornaments on a 11 by 15 press that was just dialed in, doing eight at a time.
Nice.
We found more spoilage on the bigger press. So, like I said, once you get it dialed in, just go. And then when we did have, we had a couple garden flags we made, we made some products for our friends and family too, or whatever came along. Then we had the other press for that. And but
that's the way to do it. I love it. Just having it set up for that set and go.
Yep. There you go. All right. So that's question number 1, Todd. Question number 2 here. And you kind of alluded to this already. So I'm going to let you jump right in on this one too. Do you think ISS Long Beach will happen?
My gut tells me probably not. Okay. My gut says it's probably not going to happen. It's just the way that everything is shutting down more and more. We had, Chicago January 2nd is when they're starting the, everybody needs 5 and up needs to be vaccinated. And so there's already trade shows that are pulling out because, some of the people aren't, and you can't get it done in time. So, you can't, even if it's like, okay, fine, we're going to make sure everybody's in fact, you can't have your second shot by then. So they're not going to be able to go. So there's a couple trade shows that I know, McCormick Center, that they're done. They pulled out and said, we're not going to have it. And I don't know, how that's going to play out the rest of the places, but Chicago and California seem to go hand in hand a lot of times. So if something like that's happening there, I see it going the other way too. And it's tough because there's a lot of people that's going to screw a lot of things over for. I was just seeing this week with football, because they put in the middle of the summer, they said they weren't changing any games. Everything was going to stay the same. They weren't going to postpone games or move games around. And now this week they did 2 of them. And you don't think it's that big of a deal because at least they're still playing. But what about all the people that came from out of town, that had hotels, that had flights, that had all this to go to a game, and now it's not happening or there. So there's a lot that's going to go into it. And my gut tells me it's not going to happen. If it does, great. But my gut is saying we're a month out from it right now. And that's a long time in COVID time. So my gut says, no, it's not going to happen.
All right. Well, I don't have any real logic or reason behind this other than since the very beginning of COVID, I was always the optimistic, it'll, everything will be fine. It'll work out. So I'm just going to, and not that I've been right a whole lot. So, but you know what? That's just who I am, and that's who I'm going to be. So I'm going to just for the sake of being a devil's advocate, I'm going to play Todd's devil's advocate here and say it is happening.
Yes,
Again,
it'll be great.
No logic behind that other than my own personal desire.
Yeah, I am. Like I said, I'm hoping it happens.
I know
we plan on going and there, but if it doesn't, that's one of the reasons that we didn't make it. That was our destination trip. We're going just for that. We're actually going, to visit Kelly and Crystal Ninja and see everything new there and help out there where we can. And it just so happened that these things worked at the same time. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think our Airbnb has a canceled date of like the 17th. So, by the 17th, we'll know if it's, if it's not there. So,
And honestly, I'm surprised. In fact, that's probably, we take this 2-week break here for 2 regular guys. And so that might hurt a little bit. I'm going to actually reach out to Terry because he's the one that tries to keep up with all the shows to kind of see what's happening. And so we'll see if we can get a little bit of a report from the folks over there at Impressions and see where they're at right now. You know, sometimes we can talk somebody into sharing information that they didn't want to share with us. So
and something like this, you know, it's not the event, you know, coordinator that's usually shutting things down.
Yeah.
They're just going by, you know, whatever the area, the state, the county is dictating. And you know, they don't want to cancel a show. They lose money when they
lose a massive amount of money when
they don't want to do that. They want it to go on. And I know that, you know, there was a lot of people looking forward to ISS, you know, because it seemed, you know, at the end of last season, you know, here, what was it, September-ish, that things were turning around and things were looking great. And, you know, everything was optimistic and we're going to have an amazing 2022 for shows. And now here we are. So we're going to play it by ear, but I hope it does.
I know you do.
Things about that show. And, you know, I was really looking forward to it. So it better be. It better be. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, Todd actually is thinking through this and giving you logical answers. I'm just going to be my optimistic self and say it's happening. So let's go with that.
I'll go with
that. All right. Well, hey, real quick, Todd, before we get into the next question, we do have our end of the year success sale happening. And I just thought I'd play a quick little clip and you'll see some information about kind of what the new stuff is. We can talk slightly about it, but mainly just wanted to show you guys this so you can see what we're doing over at our success group, our successgroup.com/sale, if you want to go check that out. But let's play this real quick and then we'll come back, Todd.
Roll it. At the end it should go,
That's a great idea. Little jazz hands. I love it. Perfect. So pretty exciting stuff. We're really excited for 2022. You know, lots of great things happening, but the thing I'm most excited for is inside that OSG squad, that implementation call. Just all the feedback, all the things that we've seen, all the things we've learned over the last 2 years of being able to provide OSG. What's I don't know, we've kind of coined this, or maybe I kind of coined this, but I think sometimes the members do feel a little bit like we're feeding them water through a fire hose.
I was just gonna say that.
Yep, there you go. And so what we kind of glean from that is, okay, the only way that any of the information that we provide, whether it's in something format like this, the training, the private members group, whatever, the only way that information is of any value to anybody at all is if they actually start implementing that information and putting it to work. It's one thing, you know, it's one thing to have the theory. It's another thing to actually then implement it and make it work for your business. So being able to add in those implementation calls and give people a little more space to, you know, take that training and put it into action in their business, I think is going to be hugely valuable for people. And then, you know, to be able to get that Zoom call, that opportunity to, you know, specifically talk about what's going on inside the OSG squad's businesses, I think is going to be huge too.
And so do I. You know, it reminds me of when I was in trade school. It was, you know, you had the theory and we had classroom time for that, but then, hey, now you need to go out in the lab and do it. You know, so that way you can see it. And then we came back and we talked about, hey, how was it? How did it work? What did you learn? What did you not learn? Was there something better? Because each class kind of evolved to how processes were changing, because, you know, home automation was coming on. So what the book was saying, you know, was kind of old news. You know, that's the worst thing about teaching out of a book is you got to think by the time that information was started, it got printed, to it got to you, they got to talk. I mean, in today's world, unless it's history, a lot of that stuff, or math is not going to change. A lot of that stuff is outdated by the time you get it.
Yeah.
So if you look at just how technology changes, somebody who got into school, freshman in college, and what changed by the time they got out 4 years later, a
Yeah.
lot of that stuff that they taught freshman year just isn't relevant anymore.
Sure.
And so with us, when we're feeding people from a fire hose, and we're like, hey, we just want to, be able to sip on our Yeti and see what's going on and be able to
Yeah.
make this work. This is where it came from. It's like, makes perfect sense. We never
Totally.
really gave that time for them to implement it. It was like, here, you're gonna do this. Okay, 2 weeks later, here, now do this. Here, now do this. Now do this. It was okay. Now let's see how we can work together to make this work for you. And so I'm super excited for it. I can't wait to see what it brings.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's been great. The OSG community has just been fantastic, and providing us really quality, constructive feedback about what they need. And we've been able to listen to that. We built the 5 Keys program based on that, right? It was same kind of thing. Like, okay, this is great, but how do I put this, we did a 5-week sprint, talk about a lot of information, a 5-week sprint, how do I actually put that into action in my business? And so we said, you know what, let's break that down into bite-sized chunks and then also give you an action item. It's not everything that you need to do, but it gets you in motion. It starts the momentum to get you to like, okay, oh, cool. Okay. Now I get what they were talking about for the last 15 minutes. I can implement that in my business. And then maybe you can take and run with that and turn that into a snowball. But there is all this action items that keep you moving forward the whole time. So I'm pretty excited about how that's evolving. Next year, we're going to have a business plan program that's similar. So just really exciting stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I think is going to come out of it, because I just know how the community works, is let's say we have a class on something and somebody, already is doing that, and so they're like, okay, they just kind of tune in and see what's going on. But during the implementation call, they're listening in and they're going to hear, well, somebody else took that and maybe did it a different way. Now they're like, oh, maybe I should look at that way. You're going to have these meetings of the minds where, it's kind of like when we give you a recipe. I can give you the recipe, but I mean, if anybody cooks like me, they tweak little things. They make it taste their way. And so it's like, oh, I kind of like how that works. I kind of like how that is there. So let's see what we can do and maybe change up a little things that we have. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is just those calls afterwards to see how people have kind of tweaked it to make it work for them. And I think that's going to be amazing to see that process.
Yep, for sure. All right, let's get back to another question here, Todd. We've got 2 more here, and then we should be able to close it out. All right. So, for sublimation, would you go with a press or wraps and an oven? And I'm going to make the assumption that they're talking about mugs here, because you would want to go with the press for any of your flat stuff. But that's so for mugs. For sublimation,
or they could be talking a 3D oven too, right? I mean, you could do. I mean, if they're not talking garment,
Yep. So let's just say for sublimation, would you go with the press or wraps in an oven? So even if you're doing a 3D kind of press, you still would need the wraps for that. So let's just assume there's drinkware of some sort and go from there.
So for me, I think I'm going to be team oven on this. And the reason being is because on a mug press, you can do things. You're going to be, can't say faster because it may take less time, but you're not able to do the full wraps without turning them, halfway through. You gotta make some adjustments to it. Not all mug presses are going to be able to fit the same thing. So, I've got, 2 different two different tumblers here, depending, they might not fit right. So with the wraps and the oven, I mean, I don't really think you can go wrong with that. That is my thing on it. I couldn't tell you the last time that I fired up my mug press. I bet it's been at least a year. At least a year. I don't think we used it at Christmas at all last year. And so it's been wraps and oven. So that's what I'd be. I'd be team wrap, team oven on that. I think one of the things, maybe coffee mugs are going to be a little more difficult with there. I mean, because if you do the wrap and you're trying to get it close there, then you got to do some taping and some cutting of that, which I think I'm going to do a live on that to show how we do that, where we can still get away with the wraps. The other thing too, it's not all wraps are created equal. I've seen a lot of wraps out there that are just not good wraps, that they get too much heat on them, it seems like, and they get brittle and fall apart, or they will, like almost burn inside the oven, where they'll start to split away, like they got
Yeah.
too much heat in there. The ones that you guys offer, I've never had a problem with those. Those ones seem to be the best wraps that I've tried.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend, if you are looking at wraps, as long as Aaron still has some in stock,
Yep,
to
we do.
order from them, because those ones, because those are true wraps, because those aren't the bags, those are the wraps, right? Because
Yeah,
the
yeah, they're
bags
wraps.
is where I see a lot of issues at too, because you're trying to put all that stuff, together in one
Get it.
spot, and you
Yeah,
kind of run
yeah.
into more of an issue.
Yeah, shrink all that plastic up from that, those corners and edges and stuff. Yeah, it's really challenging. Yeah, so I would agree with you there. The press is, so here's where I think a press fits, is if you are doing kind of one-offs, it can be slightly faster in that regard, right? The press, I can get that in there in 3, 4, 5 minutes, depending on what it is, have a mug done. And so, but at the end of the day, if that's what you're doing, you really need to be pricing that stuff pretty high anyways, because your process there is going to be much extended. So if you are doing any production, right, you've got orders coming through and you need to make 20, 30, 40, 50 mugs, tumblers, whatever at a time, then yeah, the wraps and the oven is definitely the way to go. And the reason for that is, even though it's going to take longer for the actual cook time, or what they call in the press world, the dwell time, you can put more, you can make more at one time. So I can put, 8, 9, 10, 11 into a bigger oven. I mean, anybody that's doing any sublimating of mugs at a large scale, you don't see too many of them. There are a couple, but I have not seen too many of the big guys out there that make mugs that use just a sea of the presses. Like I said, I've seen one or two, so I'm not going to say that that's not totally uncommon, but most of the big guys will use a big tunnel dryer, a big tunnel oven that's been made to do mugs. So you can't use just your traditional screen print oven, because you can't get it hot enough and go slow enough without melting your belt, and you can't keep the heat in there. So they make modifications to those where they put a metal belt on it. They put some blowers in it to keep the heat down inside of it longer, and then allow for that full dwell time. But so even the big guys are using what would be kind of like an oven. Now, as you're building up to that, you can be using an oven and doing that similar kinds of process. The company I worked with before, Pick the Gift, when they start off, they just went to a restaurant supply type store and bought some used ovens from a restaurant, the double door opener, and they were used. And but as long as they get to 400, and we'll keep that for 3, 4, 5, 10 minutes, then you're good. And so just getting, an oven like that, you can get a convection oven from like a Walmart or something like that, $100 kind of kids. Yep. Like
$60.
Yeah. There you go. So ovens are definitely excellent for that. And then as we kind of were talking about this, Yosta had said, talked about 3D. And so, yeah, you would use the wraps and put it into a 3D oven, same kind of scenario. And then rubber strap or shrink plastic. Now, here's where I kind of vary a little bit depending on the product. So a mug, anything that's got a handle, I'm going to use the silicone, the rubber silicone that have a clamp, right? And you got to work a little bit to find those sometimes, because there's a challenge. Hicks actually owns the patent for a certain kind of wrap. And that's why in the US, you can't find a whole lot of those class type things that work really well, because Hicks has been pretty aggressive about their patent. Now, my guess is that they're lightening up a little bit, I've noticed. But you can find, and I love the Hicks wraps. They're great. They're just crazy freaking expensive for
what they are. Like when you look at what is in it compared to what some other pieces of equipment are, and you're thinking, really?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 2 pieces of metal and a piece of silicone. Like, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. You can import something very similar for a lot less money. It's just the US distributors cannot sell those without, having to deal with a bunch of trouble. So, so anyhow, that's really the quick story there. But I do like the rubber straps or the silicone straps. They are reusable. Like you talked about with the mug, yes, you can't get super close to handle, but you know what? I can get pretty darn close. And I mean, you're talking maybe at most a half inch on each side of the handle where you might run into some trouble. But man, I tell you what, I haven't seen a whole lot of designs that need to go all the way there, because even if you are going all the way there, you're still not decorating under the handle. I mean, I guess you can kind of, but it just gets soft. So I would say work on getting your, and I'm looking for a mug here. So there, well, I mean, that's actually, that one's even off center, but you see how close it got to the edge, it's fine. And really, I would probably even try to like soften up this edge a little bit and just make it kind of fade in, because people are going to hold a mug like this. All they care about is what you see here or here. Right. So,
which is a whole nother thing too.
Yeah.
Which way is that facing? Left-handed or right-handed?
Yep.
Do I want to see it or do you want to see it? That's being a left-hander, it's like everything I get has always been backwards. So I don't think about it.
Yeah. That just gave me a good idea. So my next TikTok video will be the left hand, right hand, and then how you design that in your Photoshop or graphics program. So I got a little trick. We print a mug and then, but I don't want to give it away, man. That's my next TikTok video. I can maybe
the same thing on both sides.
But like when you get into like weddings and stuff like that, they actually will, like it has to be this side because the pictures are going, and so you maybe do one like this and that. And so anyhow, that got me way off path, which is fine. That's fine. That's what we're here for. Then the other part was then, like you said, the plastic wraps, the shrink film. And like Todd said, it's not all created equal. I've honestly found the stuff that's clear is a little bit more of a challenge. Not all of it, but typically, like Todd was saying, like the stuff that we've got for the skinny tumblers, I mean, you could sit and put we put the blow dryer on it, the hair dryer on it forever, it feels like, and just till all the wrinkles come out of it and we never get a hole in it. But I can take a similar clear piece of shrink film, and if I don't heat it just right, all of a sudden it starts getting holes, we lose pressure, and then you start having issues. Then now it becomes you spend so much money on tape that you can't charge enough for it. So anyhow, so that's my not quick take. How about that?
I like it. And I like one of the things that I recommend people, if you're really, getting into it and you're really going production wise, and that's what you're pushing for, those ovens, they're really not that expensive when it comes down to it, when you get them in a restaurant and supply store. I think and when you were trying to figure out what kind of ovens we're talking about, everybody's been to Subway. Those ovens that are right behind there, same concept. If you can find one of those, guess what? They're all on wheels, so they roll around. They have multiple slides because they're all used to taking those little bread pans. And a lot of times when you can buy those, they're right there to the left is a ton of those trays, so you can get trays with it too. And then you're just your process is loading it up, boom, put it in there, close it, set the timer, come back, pull it out, and that's your day. I've seen somebody doing that, and that's all they do is sell stuff on Amazon, and that's what they were doing. I mean, they think they were doing something crazy. To me, it was crazy. It was like 2,000 mugs a day or something that they were blowing through it, and it was just like, and that's what their process was just boom, oven, and then light them up, and then done, go pull it out, and that was their day.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's it's totally doable, and with those ovens. Yeah, I've seen lots of people crank out lots of product with that kind of a setup. So, all right, let's see what else we got in here before we get to our last question here, Todd. So Edward says, I bought a Cricut mug press for testing, but plan to get wraps in oven once I figure out which oven.
Don't like it. And you want to know why I don't like that? That one I feel is the worst style of mug press. And the reason being, because I don't know if you've seen it, Aaron, but what it is typically, when we put a press in, we're putting it in and we're closing it, right?
Yeah.
It's going horizontal. This one is a flat one. So you only can put what fits through the bottom of it, so that's it. It's made for their stuff. and I think it's a 11-ounce mug, I think is what it is. So
Okay.
if you try and put anything taller than that in it, you can't go up higher than that, and you can't go lower because now everything is just in that area. So I'd seen a couple of those before, and and it does. I don't think people think about that, because they're like, oh, I'm just doing mugs. But then when they try and do something else, that's when it clicks. Because with the horizontal ones, you have that room for adjustment, so you can move things. With those ones, with those flat ones where everything stands up, that sucks. It sucks.
Yep. Exactly. All right. Becky says I put my designs on both sides unless it's a wrap. So there you go. So that way it doesn't matter which side you're holding it on. Yeah.
I have an amazing one that I mean, did anybody else make something this holiday season that they were a little embarrassed to actually make? I mean, this one even made me blush, but then I laughed so hard about it. I will have to. In fact, the rest of the stuff showed up today because they wanted more, and that was the thing where I'm like, because it's one of those, I can totally do that. So. It's an amazing one. I'll have to send you pictures of it later.
Nice. Okay. All right. Well, let's I'm looking forward to seeing that. All right. Facebook users, since this may be your last video of the year, I just jumped on to hope you all have a good year, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, get some rest and prepare to have a better 2022. Love it.
I can't wait for 2022. We're already doing some goal setting, and I'm on the fence about some of them. They're a little outside of my comfort zone, but hey, that's what I think it's all about. Reaching just beyond the little where it's at, and and we're gonna have some fun with it.
Everything you've always wanted is just outside of your comfort zone. That's Kylene's favorite quote. So, and for a good reason. It's because it's true. All right. Well, speaking of goal setting, then Todd, let's get into our last question here. How do we know we set the right goals for us in 2022?
Aaron's the goal master, so I'm gonna let him take this.
All right. Well, there's two parts to this, Todd. First, the first part of it is it truly a goal? And what makes a goal instead of a wish or a dream is the fact that it is measurable. It's how much and by when. Mm-hmm. So a goal, how's the saying go? A goal is a dream with a deadline, right? Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to have. We need to make sure that our goals have those, at least those two parts and pieces to it, how much and by when. And the reason for that, couple reasons. First off, we need to be able to explain our goal in such a clear way that an outside party. So if I have a goal and Todd is my outside party, and I say that my goal, I want to reach my goal by, let's say, June 5th. Well, Todd can show up on June 5th and say, did you reach this or did you not? And they can clearly, without having to get a lot of explanation or like, oh, well, I did this and this and this, they can just show up and say, the number was X, you either got it or you didn't. And yes or no. And not so much that we need a third party to verify our goals for us, but what we don't realize is our subconscious brain actually acts as that third party for us. And so they're in the background working towards that. But if it's not clear to our subconscious brain, it's not going to be attracting and kind of working on the right solutions to get you to that goal. So, and then plus having a third party, having an outside source understand your goal will also give you additional resources and support, where if my goal, I'm trying to get to my goal by June 5th, maybe in March, Todd's going to go, hey, how are you doing on that goal? And I'll go, oh man, I'm really struggling and this is not going so well. And he might be able to go, oh, well, have you tried this? I'll go, gosh, I didn't even think about that. Cool. Let me try that. And then all of a sudden, wow, now look at me. Now I'm getting closer to my goal. So there's that. So that's the first part of it. Does your goal include how much and by when? Mm-hmm. And so the second part of goal setting, and I think this is probably more what the question is all about is, am I setting the right goal? Like, am I getting where I need to be going in the big picture of things? And that question becomes a little bit more challenging, but I think at the same time, deep down, we know, right? I mean, our goals have to be attainable. We have to be able to believe that we can get there. But at the same time, we also have to push ourselves. So like we were just talking about with Todd there, it has to be a little bit out of your comfort zone. So the way I kind of like dumb it down for me is if that goal is something that I can believe I can do. I mean, like I said, it can't be just completely unfathomable. I couldn't say my goal is to make $1 trillion in 6 months. I can't even fathom how I would do that. Right. But if my goal was to, do $100,000 in sales in 6 months, I know other people have done that. I can see that that's happened. I can figure out what that process is. And so there's some believability to it, even if I've never done that before, right? As long as I can somehow believe it out there a little bit, then it's good. So so I kind of try to find that thing that's right in the middle, right? It's believable to me, but if it gives me some butterflies, it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Like I'm afraid to say it in public, because then I know that, somebody's may actually hold me to that. Then I know that that's a good goal, because that's pushing me just outside of my comfort zone, but it's still believable. So that's the way I would look at goal setting. And I think the more you share it and the more you refine it and the more you're kind of, success is a team sport. That's why we created OSG, Todd. And you know that just as well as anybody else. And so when we start putting this stuff out there, when I put out there that I wanted to have that first webinar and actually get people to participate and put a little skin in the game, I think we charged $30 or something like that. I could have that goal and I could kind of push for it. And I kind of had similar goals before that time, but until I actually put a how much and by when, we said, November 13th, if you're always good with the date.
November 11th.
November 11th.
Monday.
And that we needed
1 p.m.
Yeah, there we go. And it was 25 people or something like that was what the number. So we had a how much and by when. Once I did that, then all of a sudden the wheels started happening, because now there's a deadline that I have to work for. I kind of that reverse engineering. Okay, if this is it, what has to happen between now and then to make that happen? But then the next part was I shared it with you. And when I shared it with you, then that also started putting the wheels in motion where, okay, now not only am I accountable to myself, but now I want to be accountable to Todd. I want to do what I say that I'm going to do. And so now I'm going to work towards that. Plus then Todd's out there helping me. He's saying, hey, people sign up for this, this is going to be great. And so you get both of that. And then I started sharing it more public. And then, people that were interested, they started getting on board and it just kind of snowballed from there. So that's the goal setting as far as I can tell. And that's what I've learned with my Success Principles training. And that's how I set goals going forward. What about you, Todd? What do you do differently?
Not a whole lot different. One is I had to be realistic with it. Like when I'll put it out there, my, one of the big goals for 2022, which like I said, I'm going to have a tough time saying, is I will be under 200 pounds at New Year's Eve 2022. There's a quite hefty way to get there, but I need to get healthy again. And so that's what we're going to do. We're definitely losing some weight next year. I'm tired of paying extra for, hoodies and t-shirts. So I need to get back into extra large.
We'll get kick off the year with that. So that'll
I don't know about that. I'm going to kick off the year on a bike, because I can do that I need to get my knees back. Because I used to run a lot. I used to, I used to be fit. And then I realized that there was cars and alcohol and it was just amazing,
and so, kids and
family. It's a working and, even working in the bar, it was like a lot of, I still was somewhat fit because I got to look good, and it wasn't until I got comfortable and happy where I'm like, what does it matter, and then it was like, this doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Why did you shrink this? And so yeah, I will be doing that. I figure if we've got the Y membership, I need to start using it more. And
there you go.
That's the thing is I will be losing some weight next year. It'll be a fun process. So
Yep.
We'll see.
All right. Yeah. And if anybody is curious, I've done some stuff with it on SBS and we do some stuff inside of our success group as well, or whatever. There's a bit more to the whole goal setting thing. There is kind of the next phase where you then take when you have that how much and by when, and then you start kind of breaking it down. You first break it down and have the affirmations so that you can, because ultimately we reach goals that we believe that we can reach. And so what ends up happening when we don't reach a goal is we kind of self-sabotage. We didn't believe it enough. We believe just enough to get where we got to, but we have to kind of affirm that to ourselves. And again, I know to some people that might sound wooey and crazy. Well, you know what? It works for the people that are successful. So I'm going to freaking do it, and that kind of thing. And so that's part of it. And then from there, you have to break down, okay, what am I going to do daily? It's one thing to say, I'll use your example real quick, Todd, if you don't mind. It's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to be under 200 pounds by the end of next year. But if on December 30th, you're going, I need to, go from 0 to wherever in a day, that's just not going to happen. It's not
1.67 per day is what I need.
There you go. So how
do you done it? And that's when I broke it down or not per day, excuse me. That would be ridiculous because 1.67 a week. And so when I looked at it, I'm like, that's 2 pounds a week. I'm like, oh,
that's perfect.
That's nothing when you think about it that way.
Yeah. But you can even take it and break it down, and you need to take it and break it down even further from there. So, okay, cool. So you've got that week. Well, what has to happen every week, right? I mean, is it, the food that you consume, the exercise that you do, whatever it is for you, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just, but then ultimately what you want to get to is a daily habit that you can build. I started calling them margins because like a profit margin in business, there's this, it accumulates, right? We get that profit margin on one job, and that may be 30 cents, a dollar, whatever, $5 if it's a great job. And that's not going to get you to your goals. But if you do enough of those things over time, that gets you there. So it's that margin. So what are the daily margins that you have to implement, make habits in your life to then be able to actually get there? And that's I think that's what makes it the easiest part, because now that thing is so tiny. I mean, all I have to do is exercise 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day or whatever it is. Okay. And that is easy, but it's also really hard because it's so easy that you're like, it just doesn't seem like it's doing enough for you, and you don't have that instant result. So but those things are what ultimately gets people to where they want to go. The magic bullets and the, Herculean efforts, it's just not sustainable over the long run. So, Yep. All right. And that was Joseph that was wishing us all a happy new year. And Yosta said, if it's important to you, you find a way. If it's not, you find an excuse. I love it. Yep. Totally true, Yosta. All right, Todd. Well, I think we got all the questions for
I think so.
And you're doing great, man. You're hanging in there. You look spry, so hopefully you're feeling a little bit better.
I am. I'm feeling good. Everything is going well, and now we get to close out the year. Look at that. We're at the end of the year. I'm excited. I'm excited for what the future holds for us.
Yep, definitely. Going to be a great 2022, and yes, that is not going to be easy to say, but we'll figure it out. It's going to be a great 2022, Todd, and I can't wait to continue to be a part of the OSG community with everybody. We thank you guys for showing up each week, every time we do a live, all of this stuff. We really appreciate you spending some time with us, and Todd, I appreciate you showing up every time and spending some time with me.
I appreciate you as well. Without your push, I know for a fact I would not be where I'm at. That's so it is. It was when we all work for ourselves. Who do we have to hold each other accountable?
Yeah.
But when you have that partner there that is there to send you those 3 a.m. emails, so that way he knows that you see them, and you're like,
sometimes it's pushing, sometimes it's shoving.
Right? You just have to, and it works out well. I love it.
Love it. All right, sir. Well, you have a Merry Christmas, sir, and everybody have a great New Year. We will see everybody here for Q&A sometime in the new year. We'll have to take a look at the dates. It'll kind of shift a little bit because of how we're shifting OSG training next year. But
I think it's like the third week in January. It sounds about right.
Okay. We'll give you as much heads up as we can here, and Todd and Aaron plank off 2022.
Dude, I'm never doing planks again. I think it was the worst. I'm sore just thinking about them. I don't know why. Just is what it is.
Planks are tough. All right. Well, the 2022 OSG challenge, they're only 15-second planks. They're much easier than the ones we tried to do last year.
Those ones I could probably pull off.
All
Those
right.
ones I could probably pull off.
All right, we can do it. All right, Todd, let's see if we can get this awkward high five one more time to close out the year.
Right
There
there.
we go.
Oh, you moved.
Okay.
You're gonna go right there. See, I need to get closer.
I don't
Maybe
know.
turn it
I
right
don't know.
there.
All right, we look
We're
like
good.
goofballs. Let's. All right. Well, we will talk to everybody again soon. Have a great rest of your evening, and we'll talk to you soon.
See you next year, guys.